Tonight, 4 representatives of Israel will share how flexing that muscle of the impossible can miraculously become the opportune. And it is our honor and privilege to welcome Chavirat Knesset, MK, Karine Elharrar from the Yesh Atik Party, who has traveled all the way from Rishon LeZion to address us as a guest of honor. And we invite you, Karine, to share your take on turning the impossible to the opportune.
Thank you very much, Hani. Welcome all to Israel. Welcome to Jerusalem. It's an honor to have you here. I want to talk to you in these few minutes that I have with my imperfect English about 70 years of Israel and 70 years of progress for people with disabilities in Israel, and what are still our challenges. I want to tell you that as a person with disabilities myself, I sense that we have made a tremendous progress. As a child, I experienced that many of the schools in Israel were not accessible. My colleagues, the children, had to carry me to the 3rd floor in order to use the laboratories. And I had to always have fights with the principals in order for me to be a part of gymnastic classes. It was not something that people had ever thought that today, 2018, it's normal that people, students, children with disabilities will take part in any classes. And it's outrageous if one of the schools is not accessible. It's still happening, but it's outrageous. I think that one of the milestones that we've made is legislating the equality for people with disability law in 1998. That was the first step, I think, that we've gone through from chesed to tzedek. That's something that sometimes people tend to look at people with disabilities and treat them as poor people, underprivileged people, people who couldn't make anything out of themselves. So we have the need to help them, to carry them, to do things for them. But in 1998, Israel for the first time said, stop 1 minute. We need to see people with disabilities as people with abilities, people that can make for themselves and also for society. And that was the first time that we talk about accessibility as a mandatory thing in Israel. That was the first time that it is forbidden to exclude people from housing, to exclude them from education, to exclude them from labor. It's a wrong thing to do, and you can go to trial. And that is something that nobody ever dreamed of many years ago. When I was a law student, we need to take internship mandatory in Israel. And I remember myself going from one office to the other looking for an internship. And most of the offices were not accessible, of course. And the others look at me like, really? Do you want to do internship? Why? Are you going to be a lawyer? So it was really sad because even the courts were not accessible. And finally, I found an internship. I became a lawyer. I did my LLM in the United States, WCL, in Washington, D.C. And I came back and I practiced law, and I was a I call it social lawyer, a lawyer that is advocating for people with disabilities. I did that for 8 years. At the Bar-Ilan University, we have a clinical legal program that, on the one hand, we're educating law students to be better lawyer, better aware, better people, even though they will be representing banks and big corporations, but they will still have the experience of representing people with disabilities and knowing that there are people in need and there are people that need to be included in society. And on the other hand, we also help people. We represented them in front of the education board, in courts, and everywhere. And through my years at Bar-Ilan University, I've noticed that as a lawyer, I have to wait for people to come to my office, show me the papers, tell me their stories, and then I should draft the letter, maybe go to court, with God help, even win the case. But I always wondered what happened to the people who couldn't get to the office. The bus was not accessible, they couldn't afford coming to Bar-Ilan. It's located in Ramat Gan, and we try to give legal aid to people all around Israel. And what happened to them? I'm sure they have their share of stories and their share of need to take care of issues they deal with. And I thought to myself, the best way to do it is from the Knesset. And I was elected for the first time in 2013 at the Yesh Atid party. And as a social lawyer, as a person with disabilities myself, I deal mainly with people with disabilities issues. Just yesterday, even though the Knesset, the parliament, is in recess, we had a big discussion at the education committee, about special education for children in Israel. It's a big debate in Israel. Some parents tend to say, I want a special education for my child. It's a good place. Yes, it's segregated, but they will get all the services needed. I don't have to go around and look for somebody to be with them. I don't have to go around and look for the therapist. It's all there. And they will take good care of you. And other people say, other parents say, no, I want the inclusion. I want a regular school. I want a regular class. I want him to be with the regular students. And he would be great. He would be included in society when he's older. People would not be afraid of him because he has a disability. So now the state has to decide where to allocate the money. Because we need to decide whether to put the money in institutions, in segregated schools, or to put the money in inclusion. And can we do both? This is something that we're dealing with right now. And I'll tell you, it's a big dilemma. Because one thing that I believe in, and it's leading me all my years as a lawyer and definitely as a parliament member, I believe that a person with disability, even though he has a disability, he should be the one to decide for his life. And sometimes the state, the government, the people in the ministries, they tend to forget. They want to do best, I'm sure. But they tend to forget that the person with disabilities, he has a disability, but he is a person. And he has feelings. And he has thoughts. Sometimes he cannot express them in the normal way of doing things. But he still has feelings, and he still can make decisions. Sometimes we need to help him to bring up his thoughts. But since the people with disabilities themselves and their families should be the ones to take a decision, we should make options. By making options, they will be able to make decisions. Until we won't do that, we cannot call ourselves as a society who welcome people with disability. Society will really include people with disability. My goal with legislation, with public discussions that I'm making, is to bring people into the thought that it is possible. It is possible to make a person with disabilities, to give him the ability to think for himself, to make a decision for himself. We've changed some laws, tremendous progress that we made in this field. Also for people with mental disabilities, cognitive disabilities, it's something that I think in some countries, wide world, it's still like a dream. And in Israel, it's a dream coming true. And I hope that I will, with the help of my friends in the Knesset, in the government, we tend to fight, but then we agree. I hope that we will fulfill this dream, because I believe that Israel is a miracle. We've celebrated 70 years, and it's the greatest place to be in, so if you're still considering Aliyah. I'm telling you, I think that we should be the role model. And I know that during the discussion of the convention regarding people with disabilities at the UN, the Israeli delegation was one of the best, a real leader. And I think that we should be leaders in legislation regarding this subject. And I know we can do it. And I hope in the nearest future, maybe on your next trip to Israel, I can tell you about the progress that we made in education, in housing, and I hope it's going to be really soon. Thank you very much. And enjoy the rest of your stay. There's a lot to see in Israel, and I know that you're ready for a short time. You should come for a longer visit next time. And I really want to thank you, Hani, and your organization, who is a great organization. I visited the summer camps that they're doing, and it's amazing. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Karine, I want to thank you for your honest, heartfelt words that you shared with us tonight, so meaningful. And I want to tell everyone here in this room that one of my nightmares is inviting a Knesset member to one of our events. A nightmare. Call me back, call me back. That's if you get through, call me back, call me back, call me back. Secretaries, to reach them is like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, which doesn't happen often. I can tell you something. When it was time to call Karine Elharrar's office, this is just raw truth, I got through to the nicest secretary ever. Shalom, מה שלומך? I'm like, no, a minute, who do you think I am? It's a mistake, I'm not Donald Trump. No, you said it made for art. She wanted to know where I was from. She was interested in hearing about what we do, small little friendship circle, and when I received the answer that Karine was coming, I was incredulous. I couldn't believe it. I said, are you sure? You do realize this is a small event? I don't want to take this 350. No. Karine wants to hear about every single email that gets to her, every request that gets to her. She has an interest in promoting anybody who wants to do good things. So I want to say, we just spoke about Osapartem Lachem, Yu Lachem, Zema Zematok, Maze Zoher. You are such an example to all of us, a light to all of us, and thank you so much for doing it. Something small we'd like to put in the Knesset, that we should have our heart in your office, and this is something that Noah, our Friendship Circle volunteer, is going to present and give you the Seischem Ladarach as you go home. Picture, okay. And then you have them go for it.
If you didn't picture it, you didn't do it. That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe together.
What does it say?
Paddy, you should go in as well.
The picture says, "Va'asa etchem al kanfei nesharim, va'avi etchem elai." So our wish to you is that in your work in the Knesset, you should take us on your wings and bring Israel and the Jewish people and the entire world to better, more peaceful, kinder places.
Thank you very much.